What's up, YouTube?
What's going on, YouTube? I wanted to make a video addressing like all the questions I get as far as like the female reproductive system.
Just talking about the cycle and how like the different, different toxicity levels, I guess, in your routine brought about different symptoms in your menstruation, and for other women, I was saying they hemorrhage in blood. You said some have had even 10-day periods, stuff like that.
People will message me and tell me like they're having 10-day periods, or some even have crazy moments of like a month. I was just kind of sharing my experience. I've never really had like too painful of periods, like cramps, or like even week long. They go more than like 3 days. Like something's not balanced, something's off. My period used to be all over the place when I was not vegan, and I was eating food that was just not vegan.
Technically on the like
like the ingredients don't have animals in them, but they're still trash. Now that I've learned the breath, and like I was saying, mainly eat raw, and if anything, just do a lot of fasting in general. Really, like I know now, like I don't have to. People got apps and stuff to track their periods. I don't even need, like, I just be knowing. But yeah, people were asking me, I guess, like as far as like the painful periods go, like how they can, I guess, solve it. Most of it's like inflammation, I would feel like, right? As far as like cramps go. And
yeah, I mean, like I said, like I don't have the hardware, and I'm not a female. I don't know from the first person, but I've intimately watched many females go through the process. Yeah, I could just tell if she had a very toxic month, emotionally, physically. Like again, that's all going to be tied into what she eats, especially if she eats what she feels like eating. If she's eating like that for a month, then the period's going to be longer. It's going to be heavier. It's going to be more, cramping. Just, like you said, it's just you're eating inflammatory foods, and then the organs swell, the uterus swells, the lining of the uterus gets stiff from the starch. The blood doesn't circulate like it should, and then you have a bunch of dead blood in there in different pockets, and you just have a nasty period.
And that's why birth control is the dumbest thing you could probably do. Still like dealing with that. Like I've been off of it for, I don't know. I think I stopped when I was 17. I was only on it for maybe like 2 years, and like I can still feel that I gotta like detox from that. I mean, it's the most unnatural thing I feel like you could do.
You're pretty much tricking your body.
Yeah, every month.
It's gonna beat up on your liver in general when you're taking anything like that, anything carcinogenic that's an isolated substance. It's not organic. It's gonna create issues in the whole system.
It's gonna be imbalanced. That's why I guess like everybody has PCOS. I get so many messages with women that have the cysts on their ovaries. I mean, I have them. I feel like I'm still getting rid of them.
Females, I guess, play God that way. Males, they play God because they feel like they can just spill seed and ejaculate all the time. That's kind of like their birth control in a sense, because it keeps them at a lower potency level.
Yeah.
For me, since I was spilling seed in my early years, in my teens and stuff, I feel like I'm still recovering from that now.
Yeah.
Like, and if I wasn't doing that then, I'd probably be like Dominican or black looking at this point, because people be like, man, you're getting dark or whatever, and I'd be like, yo, it's really because I'm not losing chi.
Yeah, you're keeping it to yourself.
Yeah, and that's why I feel like with women, all month they'll just be losing chi, blowing the chi, eating garbage, and then this just creates a heavy period.
I was saying, then you get 10-day periods, losing a lot.
But have these back pains? No, those are your kidneys.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah. It's just havoc on the endocrine system. When people eating against the circadian rhythm, it's playing God in many ways. I'm gonna eat when I want. I'm gonna do this when I want. I'm gonna press this button when I want. And it's like, no, there's a universal will.
And then people think they can heal when they want.
Yeah.
Too, kind of.
Yeah, no, it's like, there's a universal will that you can be aligned with it, and you could be one with the universal will, or you could be against it and get crushed by it. It's more about self-respect than anything. Ultimately, if you respected yourself, you would know that like every action has a reaction. So if you're acting away from harmony, you're gonna get a return that's away from harmony. And then the more you do that, the more you dig a hole of disharmony and needing to compensate and constantly do one thing to make up for the last thing you did.
Another thing, like as far as like reproductive healing, is like who you allowing up in there. As far as your partner goes, that has damage effects too. I feel like people don't think of that.
Yeah, emotionally,
but you letting another body inside your body, it's gonna have an effect. And
then like women too, is as far as like female ejaculation or release of water, you lose kidney chi. I've seen it many times, where a female, it's funny, man, it's more than just the surface level of it. Like if she's losing the chi, then it's running through me, and then like I'm accepting this energy of her like unconsciously killing herself. Since she's losing kidney chi, it's gonna affect her lower back. Lower back's associated with her income and money flow.
Yep.
So like I'm taking the energy that would go towards her money, and then so she won't get as much money.
Yeah.
And then that affects me personally because it's not as much money between us.
Yeah.
So then it's like,
just like a domino.
Yeah, you know, once you've like really experimented with it and you're like, okay, I'm done playing God, you know, I'm gonna just do things when they make sense.
Yeah.
And when like, you know, my whole body is in agreement and I'm sober, you know.
Yeah.
People don't realize like food is drugs. Food is medicine. And every doctor on earth takes the Hippocratic Oath, and Hippocrates said that food was medicine. So it's not like that I just made that up and said food was medicine. Every doctor ever takes that oath, and they take the Hippocratic Oath. Hippocrates in the oath is pledging to Imhotep. So ultimately, food is medicine. It's not to be just toyed with. It's not for just entertainment. It's just a respect thing. You know, putting things in their elemental order. You know, putting the breath first. Like perfection is showed to us every day. Like air, fire, water, earth. This is the order of perfection. It's so simple. Let me start my day with breath work, and then I get some sunlight.
The order of the chakras and everything too.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, then you get some hot water or something, and then maybe get some earth or put some herbs in your water.
Right.
You know, because the food is medicine. It should be
how to root you.
Yeah, exactly. You're doing things again for a purpose. You know, with intention, not like just because well, people do it with intention. People are disciplined. They're disciplined in hurting themselves.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
The pathway to hell is paved with good intentions.
Yeah, exactly. There's never any lack. It's just like everything's flipped upside down or just misarranged.
I was gonna say, as far as herbs go, for the reproductive system.
The
ones that I feel like helped me a lot was like red raspberry leaf, red clover, and black cohosh, and sarsaparilla. You got some other ones you want to throw in?
Anything that's going to help balance your endocrine system, you know what I mean? Sea moss, bladderwrack, you know what I mean? Just so you can get that mineral content. Reminding the body how to create something, because food doesn't give you energy, it reminds you of your energy. It reminds you alchemically how to produce something. Like people run to vaccine logic, like inject diseases into them to teach them how to defend things supposedly. Yeah, so if you don't have a bunch of garbage in you, and you didn't have yesterday's food and the day before that in you, and your body was completely present for a meal or a food, which is medicine, then your body would be able to go back to that memory upon recall, and then it will start to recreate it. It's just like if you say like, oh, I feel like having a smoothie, you can start to feel the feeling on your tongue and the taste and all that. You're recreating the whole thing alchemically.
You're
beginning to create the memory now of you going to the place to get it, and it's like that's the whole creative process. And again, it's the same thing. Like air regulates thought, and then you're going into the fire, so you're getting the visual, and then something like it just go, and then in the earth levels, it's last. So it's all obvious, it's all apparent. Like it's just people neglect things because it doesn't suit their identity. Again, I always say, like, if you're reaching for something, you're saying it's not you. So every time you're reaching for a food, you're creating that need, and that creates your identity. That molds your identity, because you're saying I'm not this, so I'm that. You know what I mean? Instead of saying everything is me, it's just a mirror of it. Yeah,
that's a good way to put it.
People are eating emotionally, and something like a lunar cycle is extremely sensitive to emotion.
It's like,
so any menstruation cycles are divinely tied to emotion.
What would you say as far as like women who have very intense mood swings with their period? And like I know girls that are like just overly emotional.
The hypothalamus is thrown off probably from eating starch, because the hypothalamus regulates your temperature and your moods. Hypothalamus is essentially the moon in your body. So the hypothalamus, when you eat things that throw off homeostasis, that throw off your temperature, you're gonna get moody.
Emotions,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I ate something yesterday, or again, people, they haven't cleared this out, so it could have been something they ate a week ago. You know, that's just now passing, and it's just throwing off the hypothalamus, and then they don't know, like, I ate this out of an emotion or an emotional state of lack, and now it's being processed through me, and now I'm feeling.
Now it's coming out this way.
Yeah. Since it's all haphazard and not conscious, and now I'm eating this food, fully experimenting this food, seeing what it does for me. Wait 3 or 4 hours, process that, and then maybe if if my whole body wants something, then do something again. People, there's no respect like that.
Presence.
Yeah, people don't eat food because they're saying like for a purpose. It's not like I'm eating this food so I can go run a mile. Most people are just saying like I feel.
It's pure entertainment.
Yeah, I feel like eating this.
Yeah.
So you're saying you're in emotional distress.
I think a lot of people will like. I've made videos about like the herbs and healing as far as the reproductive system, and everybody's just thinks of it as like just a physical like healing thing. Like it's just like I'm gonna take these herbs and then I'm gonna heal. But it's not. It's so much more than that.
Yeah.
If you taking herbs and still
It's like if you had diabetes or something, you cut your foot off because it was swelling because the circulation is bad. It's not going to stop the diabetes.
Right.
You have to stop putting the stuff in your body, and the reason you put it in there is because of the emotional sense of lack.
Right, like it goes back to that.
You're even thinking like that because your spine is thrown off because your organs are swollen. Your organs swell, there's pressure in the spine, your posture breaks down. You do that for your whole life, your posture is just going to be bent. And then your thoughts are going to be bent, like an antenna is bent. You're not going to pick up what you would naturally pick up. So you're thinking from a jaded point of view. You're not even thinking from a aligned point of view.
And then people be frustrated when it doesn't heal in like a month. When you've been like that for like 10 years, 10 plus, 20 plus years.
Your parents, and your parents' parents, and your parents' parents.
This is undoing a lot.
Yeah, but nobody wants the energy. I mean, responsibility, because that's the same thing. It comes down to value systems. They're saying, like, I don't want to be present for this because it takes me out of my identity or my concept of myself. But I'll be present for these other things that destroy me. It's like if I have a persona that I cannot maintain, and then the persona gets my body killed, whatever it is. Even if it's an entertainer that has a persona that is, you know, put their body in position to be hurt or murdered, that persona basically became actualized and killed the reality. And so it's like you created this parasite and it ate you. You know, they'd rather live for the persona instead of the reality. The master dwells in reality and lets all illusions go.
The Tao. I guess what I was just gonna leave off with was like, I don't know, that's a hard question to answer. Like, how can people get aligned with the lunar system?
Bury the seed in the darkness in the soil. So when the new moon, it's the darkest night on the new moon, you should be going through your menstruation around the full moon. You should be ovulating on the new moon. So ovulation should be on the new moon because that's when you're planting the seeds. And then you should be menstruating on the full moon because that's when you come to full realization. Because the full moon would be like full shed of who I was. Then, you know,
Mine's like flipped.
So then
because mine used to be the full moon and it was always so intense.
So yeah, because that's full, you know, that's when the moon, you're going through your struggles in the first 2 weeks of the moon. And it's like enlightenment. And then you're going back into the darkness to reset, set new intentions, and then you start a whole new process. And if you're going through ovulation during new moon, that's a good time to plant seeds if you're having children, and if not, it's a good time to just store that chi. Yeah, the full moon should be full enlightenment, full like detox at its peak. You come to all the struggles of that month and you've sorted it, and you're gonna implement what you've learned for the next 14 days to where you get better, wrap it up, and then ovulate, and you go through the next set of struggles and then detox some more, and then that's pretty much how it goes. Like any farmer, you know, look at it like that. Kind of gotta look at your body like that.
I feel like periods shouldn't be like normalized at this super painful time. Like I just feel like it's so normalized.
And then it synchronizes and times out the sex usually. I find that people are pretty much like, we gotta do the sex at this time because of this, and then we gotta do this at this time because of that, and then it makes everything routine, and then the more you measure things routine, the more it's just dull, and then it's not even, you're not fully present. The body's just like on autopilot.
Do you have a book on any of this that you recommend? Like as far as your books?
Busted is a world created by nuts. Healing One Day is my newest. It's my new Healing One Day by R. Bud. It's on Amazon, or you can get the PDFs directly from me.
I'll have the info in the description. I guess that's about it. I guess if you guys have any more questions, leave them down below, but that's really it. That's all.